Today, I'm going to be making a carrot cake with pecan frosting. This is a McAlister's Deli Copycat recipe. So McAlister's Delis are located everywhere, and this book is Taste of Home Copycat Restaurant Favorites. That's where I'm taking this from. So for this recipe, you're going to have, there's two sections. There's a cake section and there's a frosting section. So for the cake, you're going to need 1 cup of shortening, which this is Crisco. This is a 6.7 ounce. This is 1 cup. This whole thing is 1 cup. You need 2 cups of sugar, 4 large eggs at room temperature. You need 1 8-ounce can of unsweetened crushed pineapple, undrained. So I bought the no sugar added, but I bought a big can. I forgot I only needed an 8-ounce can, so I weighed this out and I included the juice. So this is your 8 ounces undrained, unsweetened. Then we need 2.5 cups of all-purpose flour, 2 teaspoons cinnamon, 1 teaspoon baking powder, 1 teaspoon baking soda, 3/4 teaspoon salt, and you need 3 cups of shredded carrots, about 6 medium carrots. This is about 8 ounces. So if you're wanting to go ahead and buy pre-shredded carrots, which is what we bought, you're gonna need about an 8-ounce bag. I know the Kroger brand comes in a 10-ounce bag, so you're safe to get 1 bag of those shredded carrots. That's for the cake. And now for the frosting, you're going to need 1 package or 8 ounces of reduced fat cream cheese, 1/2 cup of butter softened, so that is 1 stick. You need 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, 3 3/4 cups of powdered sugar, and 1 cup of chopped pecans. That whole bag is 1 cup of chopped pecans. You want to preheat your oven to 325 degrees, and you want to line bottoms of 2 greased 9-inch round baking pans with parchment, and you want to grease the paper. So that is what I have done. So the first thing we're going to do, I have my mixer out, and we're going to cream our shortening and our sugar until it's fluffy. Now you want to beat in your eggs one at a time and make sure that you mix them in well before you add the next one. Okay, I scraped my bowl down once, and now I want to mix in the pineapples. So in your bowl that you measured your flour in, take your dry ingredients, and we're just going to basically stir these together. It says whisk them in, and I do have a whisk, but if you don't have a whisk, just stir them in. Just take a spoon, stir it together, and then we're going to add this to our mixture in our mixing bowl. Our wet mixture, we're going to add this a little at a time until we've used it all. So I took my mixture off of my mixer, and I'm not going to use a spatula now. Now I'm going to use a rigid spoon, or I guess if you have a wooden spoon, because I'm going to be mixing in the carrot, and it'll be easier to stir it with I think with a rigid spoon. So you want to take all of that carrot, and we're going to stir it into our mix, and then we're going to distribute this evenly into our prepared pans. Now you want to bake these for 325 for 40 to 45 minutes. I'm going to set my timer for 40 minutes, but then when these come out, I'll let you know how long they took. My cakes took 45 minutes total. So their time in the book said 40 to 45 minutes. I started smelling them around 35 minutes. And so I thought, well, I better check on them. So at 35 minutes, I started sticking a toothpick in them and it was still wet. And then even at 40 minutes, it was not quite baked yet. So 45 minutes was the perfect time for me. So now you want to set another timer for 10 minutes. And we're gonna let them sit for 10 minutes before we turn them out onto our cooling rack. And then at that time, we're going to be removing that piece of parchment paper off the bottom, and then we're gonna let them cool completely. Okay, it's been 10 minutes. I could probably fit both of these on one cooling rack like you see, but I'm gonna give them their own rack. So I'm just gonna turn it out. Let me just do this. And I'm just gonna flip it over like that, and hopefully it comes out. There we go. And just remove the paper, and then we're gonna let it cool completely. I'm gonna do the same thing with this one. Flip it over, and I felt it fall when I turned it. Yeah, really, really simple. My cakes, I set a timer for 30 minutes and then I came back and felt them and they are cooled off. So now I'm ready to move on to the frosting. So what we want to do is we want to take our butter, cream cheese, and vanilla, and we want to mix this, beat this all together. And these have been sitting out since we started the process. So I've left these out the whole time, just sitting on the counter, and so they're nice. Everything should be nice and soft. It's as soft as it's gonna get. Now we're going to gradually mix in, beat in the confectioner sugar until we have used it all. Take our whole bag of chopped pecans and we're going to stir these in. So a lot of carrot cakes, you would put these on top for decoration, and instead this is going to be like a chunky frosting. And I've had them like this too. I've had them both ways. I've had them on top and I've had them mixed in. So now I have over here on the side, I have a flat cake platter, and I'm gonna put some parchment paper around the bottom of it just because I don't want to get frosting all over this plate. Okay, so I have my cake. And I'm gonna leave the rounded part on the bottom. It doesn't say, but that's what I'm gonna do. Okay, so now it says spread the frosting between the layers over the top and sides of the cake. This next one I'm going to flip over because I think it should be rounded on top. Says refrigerate until serving. I'm definitely going to refrigerate it before we ever cut into it because the frosting is really soft. I'm gonna even leave my paper on here. I'm gonna leave my paper on here and I'm gonna let this sit in the refrigerator just to let it all firm up a little bit before we cut into it. This has been in the refrigerator for several hours actually. We got busy and so it stayed in there for several hours. So I'm gonna pull this off the edge. I'm just gonna take a fork and lean it against there so that I can pull it out. And you can see it's worked really nice. This Taste of Home Copycat Restaurant Favorites is from 2020, if you're wondering. And I'll try to find it. Usually when I do a recipe from a book or a magazine or something like that, I try to find a link on Amazon in case you want to try to get a hold of the book yourself. So I'll try to put a link below if I can. This says, inspired by McAlister's Deli Colossal Carrot Cake with pecan frosting. This impressive cake is one of my husband's favorites. It's homey and old-fashioned, perfect for holidays or Sunday family dinners. This is from Adrian Badon in Denham Springs, Louisiana. Mm-hmm. Okay, and do you want to know the calories?
No, it doesn't matter.
The calories are scary. Okay.
And, but when they say colossal, they mean
this it's heavy. It's a heavy cake.
Lots of moisture though. I'm gonna try just some of the cake. I was worried about the carrots being too much. It's not.
It's a very moist cake.
Mm-hmm. You can 100% taste the carrots though.
Mm. You think?
Oh, I can.
Kevin doesn't like carrots. And I made this giant carrot cake. And then I had forgotten that he really doesn't like carrots. But he likes carrot cake and he eats carrot cake.
It depends on if the seasonings and the spices overcome the taste of the carrot. And this does a pretty decent job. Mm-hmm. Like I said, I can still taste the carrots, but it's not like that's the only flavor in there. Mm-hmm. It's good. I like the frosting.
The frosting's good. And I'm going to say something that you all are going to, your mouths are going to drop open. I know we use like 3.5 cups of powdered sugar, but to me, I have had sweeter.
Pretty sweet.
It's very sweet. It is. It is sweet, but I swear we've had sweeter. I've had like.
I don't know if you eat that frosting by itself. I mean,
I
yeah,
have.
we probably have had something sweeter, but
I love the nuts. I think the nuts make it, and
pecans are really good.
And I love the center part. I love that, you know, there's a layer with it in the middle because that's the first thing I got. It's like, what is my fork going into? And then I remembered, oh, we mixed the nuts in with the frosting, and I got 2 pieces right there in that first bite. So it makes a difference, and I love it that they're nice and crispy, crunchy nuts. But this has a really nice flavor. I don't get the carrot flavor.
Maybe I'm just more sensitive to it.
I think Kevin is more sensitive because he doesn't like them.
More attuned to them.
But something else that I'm surprised, 2 teaspoons of ground cinnamon. I thought, gosh, that seems like a lot of cinnamon. Honestly, you don't really get a lot of cinnamon.
You get the spices, but it's not like overpowering.
Right, it's not overpowering at all.
No, it's a good cake.
Yes,
good moist.
It's very moist. It's huge. I mean, like that is a thick piece of cake. And I didn't cut it like I normally cut cakes because normally I cut them into smaller slices so that it'll go further. But it's just Kevin and I here, and we're the only ones that are going to enjoy this. And so I cut it the traditional way that most of you would cut it. But I do think this is a really good recipe. I still like Kevin's carrot cake the best. Kevin's carrot cake, the recipe he made for the channel, it did use pineapple and carrots and all that with it as well, but it also used pumpkin. It was like a pumpkin carrot cake. And I tell you something that surprised me about this recipe too, that could have made a difference to all of the sweetness and everything, I don't know, was a lot of the things they had you use were like what I would consider the diet version.
Like the reduced fat cream cheese.
Yeah, reduced fat cream cheese, unsweetened the pineapple. I'm thinking for Kevin's cake, I thought he used just sweetened pineapple. So for you to specifically get that unsweetened, it's not going to have the overly sweet flavor. So this is good and it's sweet enough, but it's not as sweet as what I'm used to.
Maybe they're trying to get it closer to what McAlister's is.
That's what I think it is. I definitely think
maybe McAlister's isn't as sweet as some.
Exactly.
I think it's really good.
Yeah.
It's definitely worth trying out.
I do too, and it wasn't any trouble at all. You know, it wasn't like it was hard to make. So yeah, this would be a good recipe to try. It's just not quite as, you know, if it's on a scale of 1 to 10 and 10 is the sweetest, then this would be more like an 8 for me on the sweetness level.
It's pretty sweet to me.
So I hope you enjoyed the video and thanks for watching.